Welcome to the Bookers Alliance podcast, where we hold the pencil and the pencil is power. Coming at you right now is your host, Marky Mark, along with the man, the myth, the legend, Frank Donaldson. Join us as we discuss the ever-changing landscape of professional wrestling. So hang on tight, you jabronis, and enjoy the ride. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining today's episode of the Bookers Alliance podcast. Come on inside the house, bring yourself up your ringside seat, get your bus ticket. Because I don't know where the hell we're going. Where we going, Frank?
Apparently there's an event happening this weekend. Hell, it wasn't on my bingo card yet for an event to be happening, 3 weeks removed from WrestleMania? So why not, right?
Yeah, apparently we're going to St. Louis is where the bus says it's taking us, and apparently we're going to Backlash.
Yeah, that's how it goes. So, I mean, from here, that's through Tennessee. I guess we'll get to see what happened with the whole Asheville, Tennessee connection down there.
Maybe.
It sounded like they got the road reconnected recently. So, I mean, we got a straight path over. We'll go across to Tennessee, then go straight up 65 or 55, I think.
And then we're going to turn that something bitch sideways.
We got to turn that something bitch sideways and stick it straight up our car's ass.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining today's episode. We got a crazy one for you today. Backlash is coming up. We're going to go over the card.
Is it? What the hell?
It is.
We just had it. We just had a pay-per-view.
We got to talk about Big Match John. We got to talk about his match coming up. But before we get started, we got to show some love to our sponsor.
All right.
Coming back for a second time, Duke and Dame.
Okay.
Coming back,
salted caramel
whiskey.
Got to get some sweet flavor in there with it every now and again. You got to take your sweet with your sour.
Little salted caramel popcorn taste.
Yeah.
There.
Mine has a little bit of watered down flavor because we did a lot of pre-gaming here before the actual record, and yeah, I had a little melting going on there. So we'll work through it.
We'll work through it. All right, let's get talking about the card. Boy, before we talk about Backlash, let's talk about something else real quick. Let me get your thoughts on this whole Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Paul Heyman. What are your thoughts? Where are we going with this?
Well, so much like the lead into WrestleMania, I feel like it's a slow burn. But
yeah,
I mean,
to say the least. Yeah.
So you would assume at this point that it's leading up to a confrontation with CM Punk and Roman. With the fallout from the night after WrestleMania. And then kind of what we saw this past week on Raw with Punk coming back out and getting involved with it. You figure that's where it's going. God only knows when we're going to get there, but I think that's the direction. I'll be completely honest. Watching on this past week's Raw, watching Paul out there trying to get the fans to sing the song and all, it looked real awkward, right? Like I'm looking at it and I'm like, God, this is like a match made in hell right here. I'm like, I've never seen more different styles of people, mishmashed together in WWE, but I mean, Braun being your big badass bully, Seth being, the visionary, the revolutionary, and then Paul being Paul. God, right now it's awkward AF, right? But hopefully they'll get there. I mean, given time, things like that. Got to figure it's their first time on TV as a functional group in a traditional wrestling match. So they got to get comfortable with each other. But as I'm watching it, I'm like, damn, this is awkward. This brought me back into like some of the Rock stuff. I'm like, damn, is Rock involved? Next they can bring him out too because he's awkward AF lately. So I mean, just why not package him in with the rest of these awkward fucks?
So two thoughts that run through my head when I think about them as a trio right now. First thought was, I love Paul crashing out Monday night. Dude, he was screaming top of his lungs. So he was trying to catch his breath so much. He was snorting in between trying to catch his breath. He was crashing out going, I was right. I was like, yeah, Paul, you were.
Yeah.
You were. I'm not going to deny it.
You could live to tell it, though. That would be nice.
Yeah, don't have a heart attack in the ring, Paul.
Right. We're not trying to have a Jerry Lawler incident right here. You can make it home.
I mean, this man was crashing out so hard. I was looking for them to be at ringside with the little, the survive device trying to go a shot.
There you go.
Clear.
Yeah, just in case.
Just in case. But the second thought that I have about this trio, I don't believe they're done at just being a trio.
I
think there's more to come.
This is definitely a preliminary Dangerous Alliance at this point.
It's slow burning, and I almost would not be mad if Logan Paul is really doing this thing full time. I'm wondering if they're not going to add Logan Paul into the fray.
I mean, another awkward being inserted into an awkward ass group. The logic fits. I mean, there's a place for women in there. The Dangerous Alliance had Medusa in the group back in the day, early 90s. So there's a place for women in there. I mean, Becky would be the first person to jump to my mind, but there's a plethora of people that could be in it. There's a variety of women that won't be in it, like Dakota Kai and Cora Jade, and we know Braun Strowman won't be in it. I mean, that.
You think our sponsor would get mad if I pour one out for Cora Jade?
Yeah, we can't waste it, right? But I mean, we can. All I know. So here's what I'm going to say about that whole. Here's what I'm going to say about that whole releases thing, right? All of you fans listened to last week's episode, which was a Marky Mark produced episode, right? That was his brainchild. He provided the content for it. I just played off of what I was given, and all the people that he was saying are misused and mistreated are no longer in place. So I blame all that nonsense on him.
No, sir, you are guilty by association.
No, absolutely not. It doesn't work that way. I stood on the panel strong last week and said, no, some of these people are fine. They are fine as they are.
You must have heard a different episode than I heard.
You stood strong and said, no, I want these people to be used differently. And Triple H said, you know what? As he was listening Friday morning, he's like, you know what? Those guys are right. We are going to use them differently. I'm going to send them home.
We're going to future endeavor them.
Right. So those of you who took the releases last week, that was not my fault. That's all I got to say about that. That was all on Mr. Mark over on the other side. That's all his brainchild. I had nothing to do with it. We had no influence on the releases. Sorry.
All right. So let's swerve and get back on the lane here. We done veered off to a different road, but let's. I
needed that disclaimer to be out. I needed my good name to be absolved.
But going back to Seth and Braun and Paul, I don't think this is the end for the trio. I mean, there's going to be another person added. There might be several more added. I like where it's headed. I'm not going to bash on it yet. I think it is a slow burn. I do agree with you, Frank, on that one, but they need to change up Seth. Get rid of the song. Yeah. Get rid of the sing along.
Yeah,
it's not going to work.
The whole gimmick.
It's not going to work.
And we said that coming out of WrestleMania before the group even started. As soon as him and Paul got together, it was like, okay, now we need to get serious, right? Yep. We need to put all the bullshit to the back. We need to get our serious face on and be about business.
If he slid back into the Monday Night Messiah role, I wouldn't be mad at that.
No, because Paul would be a great disciple.
Right?
And, we don't need to call Braun the disciple. Obviously he's the muscle.
Right.
But, there are guys that could fit into that more disciple-ish
I mean,
role,
you could, look, Hunter, if you want to take this and run with it, feel free.
I mean, you took all our ideas from last week, so why not?
But if you turn into the Monday Night Messiah, you got Paul as the disciple. Seth could talk about, hey, you got to atone for your sin.
Yeah.
And, going up against Braun Breaker when that siren hits could be, that's your atonement. You got to go through the atonement there.
Yeah, there's a lot they could do in that angle, but just sticking the three guys together and making them be the same guys just together, that ain't gonna work.
No.
And I mean, they got plenty of time because, again, they ain't wrestling at Backlash. So the next PLE is what, another 3 or 4 weeks away?
Yep.
So, I mean, they got another month to figure out what they want to do. And I think they kicked it off with Punk interfering this week. So I think we're starting to put the pieces in together, but if they're going to be a group, make them a group, right? They don't have to be a team. They don't have to unite and all wear the same colors and that nonsense.
Yep.
But they do need to change up. If they're going a different way with the characters, change up the characters, freshen them up.
Punk and Seth are on a collision course again.
When are they not?
But that's fine because I'll watch that every day. I'm fine with that. I don't get tired of seeing them two go at it. They're both great on the mic. They're both great in the ring. But if you're going to go at it, boys, this should be the WrestleMania match that we never had.
Yeah, but it's going to end up being a tag match. I mean, this is going to be. They're not.
I hope not.
That's the only way they're going to go. Because I mean, otherwise Roman's going to have to wrestle Braun. Well, then Braun's got to take a fall, and it's a little too soon for that. But if you get into a tag situation, maybe that's a good, but I mean, apparently Roman don't have no problem taking the fall. So apparently, that could be a good segue to get Braun Breaker to get a pinfall victory over Roman. Well, that catapults him into upper echelon at that point. Right now he's kind of getting pulled up, dragged up. Yeah, but if Braun can put Roman down for 3, I mean, that makes him an instant main eventer. He's wrestling Jey Uso if he wants next week. You know what I mean? That establishes him. So you can use it in that angle, but you don't want Braun Breaker wrestling Roman Reigns one-on-one. That's not going to work. That's not going to be a good look.
All right, let's get into this card. Big Match John. We're going to save that one for the end. Let's start off with Dirty Dom versus Penta for the Intercontinental Championship.
Look at Dom Mysterio being a lucha standout, right?
Eddie Guerrero, you did well. Eddie, you did well.
He's ushering in a new era of lucha wrestlers. And 2 years ago when we started this, I never would have thought that we'd be heralding the praises of Dom Mysterio on this show. But, I mean, he plays into the character. He got, sneaky little bullshit heel. He got that down pat. I mean, like you said, it's almost like he was born for it, right? And that wasn't his dad's role, so you know who he took them genes from. So
we lie, we cheat, we steal. So,
yeah, we do some stuff.
Look, Eddie got over in that gimmick. I think Dom is going to get over in this gimmick. Penta, whereas Penta and Dom are capable of doing that lucha libre kind of style, I think there's going to be some lucha libre moves pulled out that we've not seen in a while or seen ever within the WWE in this match. I do not think Dom loses. No. He's going to retain
too soon. After
winning. And the crowd is with him. Now, what sucks is because the crowd is also with Penta.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able to keep Dom heel long, I don't think.
Is he still heel?
See, that's the thing.
I mean, let's be honest. So same thing as what we just a year ago, booed out of the building. Boy couldn't pick up a microphone, got booed out of the building. He cuddled up with Liv, and they said, "Oh hell, we hate you worse."
Yep.
And they loved it. They played into it. He got nuclear heat back in the day, but that's changed now. The fans have came around. They're like, "Hey, you know what? Yeah, the kid's still snarky. We still can't stand him, but he's pretty damn good in the ring, and he really honed his craft over the last year. Got to give him credit for that." So they start to cheer him now.
Not only in the ring, kid's killing it on the mic, and I'm not just talking about in the ring on the mic. I'm talking about in every interview that I see him doing hot ones. I mean, he's doing hot ones on YouTube. I mean, he's everywhere right now. He's making people, when he gets in these interviews.
Now, wait a minute. Anybody could have did hot ones with Liv on there, and they would have got over it. That was not a losing segment. No way.
But he's making people, vets of the business, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, he's making them pop in interviews when he's, answering these questions, because whether he is shoot or work or what's going on when he answers these questions.
Yeah, he's loose.
He's loose, and it's free flowing, and it's funny as hell to watch. I love it.
Yeah, same like you said, he's got some of those veterans on their heels in those conversations too, because they're not expecting. I mean, you hear him say it at certain times. I remember that kid when he was 3 running around in the backstage. Well, now he's grown and he's talking trash on the mic, and you can't handle it. So, hey, you better step your game up here. Stop looking at him as a little kid now. He's a grown-ass man, and he's ready to work.
All right, let's get into the four-way dance for the United States Championship between Jacob Fatu, Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, Damian Priest.
Speaking of clusterfuck, I mean, how did we wander our way into this, man? 2 of those guys you just said were world heavyweight champions last year. Now they're both about to job to the current United States champion. Jacob definitely ain't losing.
Nope.
LA Knight's 100% taking the fall. I mean, these are things that are going to happen, right?
All gas, no brakes. Jacob Fatu. Jacob going to run over everybody. Look, we called this early on when Jacob showed up on the scene. We knew they were kind of slow playing Jacob because of Solo.
Who?
Yeah, who? Talking about somebody disappeared.
Speaking of Solo, whoa. I mean, hell, somehow or another, the bloodline completely dissolved, and Solo's right back in the same role as he was in the bloodline, playing the heavy for Jacob now.
Yep.
All right, let's call a spade a spade. That's just Solo's role, right? At this stage of the game, that's his role, because, and it's no fault of his. They elevated him. They tried to make him head of the bloodline. They went to push it, and Jacob just got in, and hell, he got over. I mean, Jacob tried not to get over. We can remember him just standing there being absolutely silent, saying, "I love you, Solo," over and over again. but his talent spoke for him. He didn't have to come out and cut promos. He didn't have to come out and make himself be the center of attention. His in-ring work did that for him. So at this point, Solo's just second fiddle again, and it's okay.
Here's my problem with Solo. This is what I don't like about Solo. Solo went from being the heavy to being the chicken shit heel. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how that happened.
Because he didn't get over in the heavy role. He didn't get over as the top guy. I mean,
I felt like he was getting over in the heavy role.
Was he? I need you to go back in the archives and remember when a year ago around this same time when Solo was running the bloodline and Roman was gone.
But that's different.
We were on the episode flat out saying we didn't feel it. It wasn't working.
But that's
it wasn't
different.
clicking.
That was him as trying to be the tribal chief.
Yeah.
When he was the heavy for Roman, I believed it because there were points in, even like when WrestleMania 40, when he come in and he gave Solo the spike. I mean, when he gave Cody the spike, he was yelling at Roman, "Do what you need to do it." And Roman's like, "I know," and I'm like. So he's an intelligent heavy. Like most of your heavies are dumb.
Yeah.
But he's an intelligent heavy. I felt like he had that role, but when he slipped into the tribal chief, that's when he turned into the chicken shit heel. And I don't like him in that role, man.
So I hear you, but same thing, right? Go further back in the archives before WrestleMania when Solo was the heavy then and the Usos were the tag champs, Roman was the double champ and all that. When the Bloodline would wrestle, who took the fall?
Solo.
So he was the chicken shit heel then too. He was just he was the tough guy, but he was at the end of the day, he was the fall guy. No matter what angle you put him in,
because he didn't have a belt and he couldn't get pinned.
Right. And,
I mean, he had a belt at one point because he was the North American champion.
Yeah, but that only lasted 2 weeks, so that don't count. He won that just for the visual, and then they realized
so they can all have a belt.
Yeah, then they realized, wait a minute, we can't elevate the title because we're still calling it the NXT title.
Right.
So then he went back down to NXT and lost it a couple weeks later. Right. But after that, he took all the pinfalls. And again, it's not even the heavy or the whatever. He's just the second. And I mean, when you're a second, you're gonna take those falls, be it through chicken shit heelish tactics or dumb heavy tact, whatever the case may be. You got to play the role of a second, and unfortunately, he's typecast himself into that role as a second right now. Now, the only way he can get out of it, clean break from the whole bloodline, right?
Yeah.
Get away from Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, get away from Jacob, go to Raw and go wrestle Jey Uso for the time. That would be the only way to break him out of it, but they're no way, shape, or form in the position to do that because then the Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga, they're on an island of themselves at that point, and it ain't the island of relevancy.
Very true, very true. So, obviously, we both see Jacob coming out of this match, correct?
I actually see Damian Priest and Drew further in their feud into probably another one-on-one singles match at some point down the line. And again, I see LA Knight taking the fall because he just took it at WrestleMania. So, hey, why break what's working?
True. All right, let's get talking about Gunther versus Pat McAfee.
Good God.
So look, this ain't going to be anywhere near a match full of wrestling psychology and technical moves. And look, this is just going to be a brawl. I mean, look,
that's putting it lightly.
Now, I ain't saying Pat can't go. Pat can go. I saw Pat go in NXT.
Yeah.
I saw him go
Adam Cole, right?
I saw him go in War Games.
That was also against Adam Cole, right?
Correct.
Adam Cole. So just for aesthetic purposes, Adam Cole about 5'8", 160.
Correct.
Somewhere. Gunther 6'3", 6'4", about 260.
Yep.
Adam Cole does he did that little chicken dance he did, when right before Britt Baker broke up with him because he did that dance in the ring. Right?
Yep.
Gunther throws a chop that can take a full-grown man's heart and stop it for a few minutes. This ain't gonna be pretty.
No, it ain't gonna be pretty.
This is the stuff nightmares are made of.
Pat may die.
Yeah, if I'm Pat, I'm like, why? How did I wander myself into this? A side note though, for anybody who didn't notice, when they were showing the close up of Pat's face from the angle in there, tell me Pat didn't look like an old school Triple H.
He did.
100%.
The nose and everything.
The nose, the profile, the stubble on the beard. The only thing that didn't match was the little box cut he got. Had it not been for that, I'm like, damn, no wonder Triple H hired him in there. maybe he's Pat's dad, but we'll get to that later on down the road.
Look, I feel for Pat. I feel for the reason why he said he's got to do this match. He's sticking up for Michael Cole. Good on him. That's his boy. You always take up for your boys. But Pat, I don't know if you've ever seen Gunther chop somebody, or if you was just high over there on the ringside when you saw him chop somebody.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt.
This gonna hurt, man. This man ain't playing.
So, and you asked earlier, and we weren't able to do it. So next week, what we're going to do is we're going to provide a sponsor that will allow us to pour a little bit out, because we're going to have to pour some out for a fellow Mountaineer.
Yeah.
Because Pat ain't going to be on commentary on Monday night, right? That's not going to happen.
Pat may die.
Right, Pat may be. So what they should have done, had they been thinking, they should have positioned this a lot closer to the college football season, because then he could have just chopped his ass right back to college football, and then Corey could have got elevated again, because that's probably the only way. Oh, big up to Corey. Corey's got another baby on the way.
Big up.
So, I mean, yeah, he's a one-income family with a baby on the way, so why not?
But Gunther, the line of the promo, though, was Gunther telling Pat, only by the grace of God will my arms be lifted off of you. And I'm like, dude, it's a straight up killer, man.
Yeah, he's
straight up Drago. He's gonna kill you.
So it won't look as bad, but remember what happened to Jimmy Uso a couple of weeks ago?
Yep.
Yeah, we're in that same realm of thought right now. It ain't gonna look that bad, because Pat got to do ESPN Monday morning, so he can't come up to ESPN looking like he got mauled over the weekend, right? He can't be Jesse Smollett, but I mean, at this stage, he ain't coming out of that clean, and damn sure ain't winning.
But look, if they're going to get the killer look back on Gunther, that's the perfect match to do.
Yeah, he'll get the most sympathy. I mean, if you really want to get sympathy while he's beating, Pat down, Michael Cole should run in there and just take one chop.
Yep.
And then that gets a whole new announcer team elevated on Monday night the following, because neither one of those guys are coming back from that.
I actually think Michael Cole should step in somewhere in this match.
Absolutely.
Because look, if Pat's going to take up for his boy, Cole got to take up for his boy.
Yeah, you can't let your boy go in there and get his ass mollywopped in there, and you just sit on the sideline calling the match. This is your fault. So
right.
You got to go up there.
You got to go in there.
You got to step up, even though you're going to take that stray. You got to step up and take it. So Michael Cole needs to get in there, take one good chop.
Yep.
That's all it takes. Because I mean, at that point, they are going to have to restart Michael's heart.
He done.
The chop on him. Hopefully, Gunther chops him in the belly welly, as Dusty Rhodes used to say. Because if he hits him in the chest, we got problems.
Yep. All right, let's talk about the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Lyra Valkyria versus the man, Becky Lynch.
Yep, that's happening.
Yeah, that's happening. Look, all right, so we know what this match is. This is mentor versus protege.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Age-old storytelling in WWE.
And cool that it's happening. I get it. Cool. I already know the finish. I mean, Bayley's going to come out.
No way she's missing that. We haven't seen hide nor hair of Bayley since her backstage jumping before Mania, so yeah.
I almost wonder if Bayley's not going to come out and interfere on Becky's behalf and attack Lyra.
That would be interesting and wild at the same time.
Yep. Because there was a point there where Bayley had been bested by Lyra and didn't want to shake her hand at the end of a match one time. Kind of had some heel tendencies, but got back in the ring and hugged her. And I'm just wondering if something's there. You never know.
You never know. But then, I mean, Becky self-admittedly jumped Bayley in the back and took her out of WrestleMania. So I'm probably I don't know about interfering on Becky's behalf, but I may see a three-way dance out of this, because WWE apparently loves the hell out of some three-way dances these days.
That's a way of booking everybody. But shout out to Becky for the line of the week, though. For you burning Sasha or Mercedes or however you want to call her. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, look up the Raw post-show when Sam had Becky on there, and Becky said that Bayley maybe should text her friend for the $100. And
so no, that wasn't even the line of the week. Go ahead and finish, but I'll tell you, she had a banger on that interview.
But she had to had her laugh because of that. She couldn't even laugh and get over. For those of you who don't know, Mercedes is charging $100 a month to text with her, right? What? What?
The hell. I slided them DMs for free.
That's like the old WCW hotline back in
essentially, but $100 a month. For $100 a month, you know what I could get down on to? Never mind. All right, we'll move along.
Man, you had me worried for a minute. I was like, God, the FCC gonna cancel.
Yeah, no, we'll move along on that. But no,
I was like, Frank, that was supposed to stay in Vegas, man.
In that same interview, Becky also said, the fans are getting on her, calling her Becky Hogan now about her being old and all that. The line of the week was saying, you don't hear that on the male side. You don't hear him saying CM Punk move along. You don't hear him saying Seth Rollins move along. I'm like, damn, did you drop a straight right there on your own husband?
Yep.
Called him old and over the hill, and he needs to get out of the way for the young holy hell. I'm like, well, damn, now that's a banger right there. I'm like, if you're going to throw your husband under the bus in your interview, I'm giving you kudos for that. I said I was going to shout her out on that for this.
So look, I have compared Lyra Valkyria before to Daniel Bryan. I really think she fits in that style of wrestling. Becky, of course, we know Becky. We've seen her fight for many years. We know she can go. This match has the potential to try to steal the show.
Yeah.
Will it?
From what we got on the card right now, yeah, it's definitely up there.
Will it, though? I doubt it because of the shenanigans that are probably going to go down.
And the time that they give them,
Yep.
This is a shorter pay-per-view. They might not get 20 minutes.
Hey, fingers crossed, hoping for the best.
So I don't think they'll have a bad match. I mean, clearly they've worked together a lot, so they know what to do when that bell rings. They know how to put on a good match. I think it's going to boil down to the planning of the match. Like you said, if we're going to include a lot of backstage stuff, if we're going to include a lot of interference, if we're going to include and if they get short time, then yeah, it could be just an average match. But if they give them enough time and let it play itself out before all that nonsense starts, I think they could throw out a banger for sure.
All right, let's get to the main event.
Yep, that's happening.
Big match, John versus Randy Orton.
In St. Louis.
Randy
Orton's got to, John said it, I want you to only have to drive 15 minutes to the match. I want you to be at your peak. I want you to be fresh. And I said, damn, John Cena's won one match in 8 years, and now he's calling people out to be their best. I said, well, that's some bold stuff right there. So go ahead and do your thing, John.
John is killing it right now.
Yeah, I mean, hey, he's telling you, he's like, hey, I sucked for the last decade, but I'm the man now, and damn it, that's how it's going to be, and y'all just got to eat it.
Randy told him he's so ornery right now because he never had kids, and he said he didn't have time to have kids because he was parenting our kids.
Yours. And I heard that, and I said, ooh,
and then Randy calling out the price of his merch and how he's robbing kids blind.
That's what he said. And John Cena said, yeah, but I got shit to pay for. He's like, I got vacations to go on and all this. All I want to know is when Randy Orton went out there, when he wandered out there to the ring, he's known John Cena for 25 years. When he wandered out to the ring, did he know he was going to get served up that two-piece?
Nope.
Nuh-uh. I didn't either, to be honest with you. Because up to then, they were playing John and Cody on. The John was kind of mild and meager, and Cody was dominating and all that.
Yep.
But now with John being the champ, I think we're starting to get them old John Cena promos back that I've been waiting for. Because like I said, John served up Randy a nice two-piece right there, and Randy just sat down and ate. He had nothing to say. He just took it.
He acted like he got mad. He's like, I've known you for how long, and you gonna say that about me? Like, yeah, Randy, he did.
Yeah, he did. And to make it crazy, I mean, everything Randy threw at him, Cena was able to throw right back and just leave it. So not only did Cena ride on Randy in that, he rode on the crowd in that. So, and I think that's what I like most about what John's doing right now. He's not only able to, basically crap all over his opponent, but he's finding a way to crap all over the fans in the same time, keeping that heel persona going. So when they want to cheer him, he's like, hold on, you don't want to cheer me yet because I got one for you too.
Yep.
So, Randy got that two-piece, but y'all going to take this side of the biscuit right now. So go ahead and y'all eat too. Leave us all in the dirt. I love it.
I'm eating it all up, man. It's everything I wanted a John Cena heel turn to be. I love the fact that he's just coming out there and shitting on everybody, including the little kids. It's a blast.
Classic.
It's a blast to watch it. Now, some people are hating on this match, though. Some people are going all the way back and going, but wait, John and Randy had their last time ever match before. Why are we having it again? Because it's the John Cena farewell tour.
Exactly.
Sit down, shut up, and enjoy the ride, man.
After this, we'll probably never see those two guys in the ring again.
Yep.
And you got to remember, the last time they had a match like this was 10 years ago.
Yep.
There's fans today that never saw them wrestle. So to those fans, this is the last time ever, legit.
Yep.
Because, a decade is a long time to spread two guys apart that basically came up in the business together. So it isn't like this is stale. This is fresh as fresh can be. Well, when we start seeing John versus CM Punk, and we start seeing John versus all these other legends that are still hanging around in there, it's going to be the last time. We ain't got time for all this damn complaining. Sit back, shut up, enjoy it, remember it, because you'll never see it again.
Now, what are we going to get with this match? We're going to get story time. That's what we're getting with this match. So they've got 25 years of a history together.
Uh-huh.
They are linked in so many different stories that have happened.
Before day one.
That it's unreal how closely their careers have been linked. So here's what you're going to get. You're not going to get this whole technical wrestling again.
No.
You're not going to get that between the two. Here's what
I'm sure ain't going to see 40 super kicks and, 75 splashes off the top. You ain't getting none of that.
Here's what you are going to get, because here's where it is. So John has turned into Big Match John.
Mm-hmm.
Randy has turned back into the Legend Killer.
Mm-hmm.
I really think you're going to see Randy try to attempt a punt kick on several occasions, and he's either not going to get it or he's going to miss or something's going to happen.
Yeah.
I also think you're going to see several AAs. You're going to see a STFU. You're going to see RKOs.
Yeah. There's going to be as many finishes. There'll be enough finishers to finish this year out.
There's going to be false finishes left and right, because the one thing about John Cena and Randy Orton, they both shared the same attribute.
Yep.
Heart.
Yeah.
They
came up together. They were bred the same. At this stage of the game, they were bred to be that guy, and both of them achieved it multi times over.
Yep.
I mean, right now on the active roster right now, the two top world championship guys are Cena and Randy Orton. The only other two in the conversation are Triple H and Ric Flair, and ain't neither one of them getting back in a WWE ring. So right now you're talking about the two top all-time guys still going wrestling. You don't get much better than that. Taking the time out to hate it or dissect it and all that is ridiculous. You got to enjoy it for what it is, because we got 50 years worth of experience between the two of them, and they know how to put on the right kind of match for what this is going to be. They know how to do the finish. They know how to get the whole story told in between those ropes.
Yep. You're going to see not only in between the ropes, you're going to see it on the outside. You're going to see plenty of announcer table bumps. You're going to see them probably brawl in the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
You might see a weapon or two
They're going to
get
enjoy
used.
that.
I mean, it's going to be everything that we've always known about John Cena, Randy Orton, and then some. So here's my thing, though. Here's what I better not see in this match. I better not see no Travis damn Scott.
Oh, you can go ahead and throw that out of your mind. You're going to see Travis Scott.
No.
Oh, yeah.
That man better not pop up.
You're going to see Travis Scott.
It better not be a commercial about Travis Scott on this pay-per-view.
They might even go back to play the WrestleMania theme song again.
Fiend.
Right. You might even get that. But yeah, there's definitely going to be a Travis Scott sight.
No.
Because rumor has it that somewhere in this summer rush that they're having, they're trying to have John Cena tag with Travis Scott against Bad Bunny and a partner of his choice, right?
Oh, maybe it'd be maybe it'd be Randy Orton.
I don't know. I think this will legit be the last time we see Randy and John in the ring together. But there's some other contenders that could get in that.
Cody.
Right. There's Cody that can definitely get in that. I mean, you could wander a lot of guys into that realm if that's what you're looking for. But if you don't include Travis Scott, then out of sight, out of mind. People are going to forget that whole association. I mean, it wasn't good at WrestleMania, right? So this is your time to clean it up. If you're intending to use Travis Scott anymore, clean it up now. Get him, use him effectively in this. Don't have him swagger down to the ring, in 15 minutes while we're, at the wrap up of a match. Don't do all that. Get his ass out there. Get him out there quick. Make it effective. And then you can make us interested again. You do it wrong, do it incorrectly, and we hate it. If you do it the right way, though, it is interested. And then we're like, hey, wait a minute. You mean to tell me you're going to get like two of the top guys in the music industry as far as like followers and streaming and all that goes in the ring together? That's damn near Dennis Rodman, Karl Malone-esque that we're talking at that point. Two guys that were on the top of their game at that moment in time. You could almost create that kind of magic again if you handle it correctly.
So there is a scenario that I've been thinking about of if they're going to do Travis Scott, the spot that they could use him in, whether, I don't know, I ain't thought it fully through, but again, this is the Bookers Alliance. We just throw stuff out
We
there.
go off the fly.
Yeah, we go out the fly, but what if they battled back towards Gorilla? And then what if in Gorilla, John's beating Randy down and he looks over at Hunter like, hey, you going to save your boy? Like, you going to let him take this beat down?
Mm-hmm.
You know he's got a bad back. You know he's had surgery. Why are you letting me do this to him? Why are you letting me do this and that and the other? And then Hunter get up in John's face, and then all of a sudden off camera, you see Randy get hit one good time, and then it pans, and it is Travis Scott.
Hey, that's a better use than what they did at Mania.
That would be a good way to use.
There's a lot of different things they could do that are better than what they did at Mania.
Yeah.
So,
but then you see, that could lead, Hunter and Travis going back and forth. Hey, you want to get in this? I'm gonna put you in it. Like,
well, so just building off of what you just said, if Hunter and Travis get into it, well, that's a damn good way to reinsert The Rock.
Yeah, true.
Now you got to have somebody, because Travis Scott may be a big social media guy, but he ain't no damn Triple H, right?
Right.
You got to fight fire with fire. You ain't bringing a knife to a gunfight. So if if Triple H, probably 230 at this stage of the game, standing down Travis Scott. If I'm Travis Scott, I'm like, hey, I ain't taking that butt with me. No, heart murmur or not, we ain't getting involved in it. But then like, hey, but I got a friend that can get here within minutes, that can handle this. And maybe that's a good way to introduce that kind of storyline. Maybe that's where it goes from there. Hey, I'm there for it if that's what they do. But if you're going to do it, just do it right. Put good thought into it. Take the ideas that we're giving you. No trademark, no copyright. Tickets would be nice, but we won't get into that.
Amen.
Right, we won't get in. Stephanie's Places could be on the Bookers Alliance in one episode, but we can go make no promises. That's going to come out clear.
She also has a podcast right now.
Yeah, she does. Hey, we could collab here. That could always happen. You do ours before we do yours. So that's a different negotiation. We got agents for that. But nonetheless, hey, tie that stuff in. I'm back interested.
Yep.
Just throw some stuff together. Hope it sticks. It probably won't.
Yep. But obviously we know who's coming out of this match. Still champion, right?
Oh, yeah. There's no way they're flipping if they flip the title at this point now, I'm never watching again. I'm just putting that on the table. I've said this before. I'll always throw that card on the table when it's necessary. If they bungle that part of it, now they could bungle the Travis Scott stuff, they could bungle all the other stuff, but if they take the title off John Cena now, I never watch again. Then I'm an AEW fan, and God help me, don't do that to me. Good Lord.
So, being the fact that they've not talked about Randy, and how many championships that he's had, other than the fact that when Cody, he was standing across the ring from Cody and he was looking at the belt, and he told Cody, I'm going to come for that one more time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I also find it interesting the moment that he does come for the belt, it ain't on Cody. It's on John. Hey. I also find that interesting.
Better history.
History, true.
John and Randy got more history. Maybe not better, but more.
True. So definitely don't see John taking the loss on this one. Randy, unfortunately, he's going to lose in his hometown. But then again,
hell, WWE loves to
bury
a guy in their hometown. That's like in the handbook somewhere. If a guy's in his hometown, gotta bury him.
So, that's the card. And WWE's been running short cards here lately. 5 matches. At least it's not 8 hours long. That AEW,
they'll still drag it to 3.
They'll drag it.
Then they'll press conference us to 4 hours. So they'll make sure to put us through our paces.
So let's wrap up with this part of the conversation real quick. So what do you think of the card? What do you think of this?
So remember before WrestleMania, and I was saying the long gap between like pay-per-views or PLEs from February to mid-March to end of April.
Yep.
Was such a drag. Well, now we're catching the back end of it, or legit the backlash of it, because now everything's got to be hot-shotted. Now we got 3 weeks in between this pay-per-view from Mania to now. I think 3 weeks from now to Backlash. I think early part of June we're going into the next PLE. There's a couple Saturday nights main events
Money
packaged
in
in
the
there.
Bank.
Money in the Bank's coming. So backing up WrestleMania did cause a lot of problems, but I think for the amount of time they had, 3 weeks to actually establish and build credible stories, I think they came up with the best card that they could in the time that they were given. I don't know if the stories have been fleshed out, but Backlash really isn't a place to end any stories. They're kind of just like a conduit to carry the story along, right? So I think we get a lot of schmaz in this pay-per-view. I don't think we get a lot of ends of anything. I think we build from here. So I think that's a build and pay-per-view, and I think they got the right guys to do it.
I think it's okay. I think just for sheer fact of along of John and Randy kind of going at each other, that's got my interest.
In St. Louis. That's
in
big.
St. Louis. I am interested to see what happens between Pat and Gunther. Just because Pat is endearing and Gunther is just a true.
So again, Pat's a fellow about me. We attended WVU at different times. Like he came along after I had left, but I still had love for the man in my heart. But I think we're gonna lose Mountaineer that day. So one down.
So yeah, that's the card, everybody. We're gonna be that, watching it, and we'll see what happens. But definitely an interesting time right now in the WWE. It's interesting with what all's going on, swirling around, the releases, the people that are standing at the back of the curtain ready to walk out and say, hey, notice me, put me on TV, versus the people that are getting the airtime. There's a lot of shit going on, but I want to close it with this last thought. Push Killer Cross.
Oh God.
Push Killer Cross.
Here we go with this.
Push Killer Cross.
Ugh. Close it out.
Yeah.
I'm done. I've got nothing.
Frank said, nope, I'm done.
I've got nothing. I'm done.
All right, everybody, reach out on our social media platforms. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think about the card, what you like, what you don't like. Tell us if you want us to push Killer Cross. Get that in there, please.
Ooh.
And with that, everybody, we bid you adieu.
Peace. Oh, we could push Scarlett, though. I mean, I push.
Today's podcast was produced by SBP. You can find our podcast on all major podcast platforms. Also, connect with us on our social media accounts. Search for The Bookers Alliance on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X.